to Evolve Men Coaching, where this week we're exploring with several of my friends this one question. We're taking a look at what is the most important thing men need to know in 2021. And I'm joined here by my friend Amber Hurdle, and she is... I'll tell you her bio. Amber helps professionals and businesses define and position their value, having learned about branding as a teen mom who repositioned herself into a multi-award-winning powerhouse businesswoman, which is true. She's based here in Nashville. She has served celebrities, executives, Fortune 100 companies, and everyday leaders alike throughout her books, podcast, and coaching programs. And she's helped us with the podcast meetup in Nashville many moons ago. Amber, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Angus.
It's
always fun to spend time with you.
Yeah, and she just got back from her European, I was going to say vacation, but it was more than that. It was like an adventure.
Adventure. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I wanted to get a female's perspective on this question. Last week I talked with a couple people. They were all men, right? And so now I want to come to you as a female, and I've got some more coming here. Oops, I got to find this button. Here's the question. So from your opinion as a woman, what is the most important thing men need to know in 2021?
Well, so I thought about this, and there's so many things that I wanted to say, but I think one piece of advice or maybe some awareness that I can help develop would really encompass all of those other things. And so here's what it is. Every human, whether you are, we'll say, born a man or born a female or wherever in between, we all have both masculine and feminine energy. And that does not mean you're more male or more female. That means that some of us have a little more masculine energy, some of us have a little more feminine energy, and it doesn't matter your gender. So what this looks like in business is if you have a lot of feminine energy, male or female, or anywhere in between, if you have a lot of female energy, you tend to lean into that limitless potential, that malleable, creative source. You're thinking about what can be, you're thinking about the direction, you're visioning forward, and you're more like the compass, okay? If you tend to have more masculine energy, then you tend to lean more into the doing. So you are the person who's like get it done, GSD, check the cliff, and we're like, oh, how are we going to get down there? But the female energy is more of like the planner type energy. So I love how Christina Lopes presented this. She said, it's like you have two people, and we're going to, just for the sake of making this easy, a woman and a man, female energy, male energy. And you're trying to get through a thick forest to a very particular location. The female is going to be the compass and devise the path that is the most strategic to get there. The man is just going to take his machete and he's going to hack his way through the forest until he finds it. Now, one is not better than the other, but when you put them together, it's a beautiful thing. So if I was a man, and men typically, not always, typically have more male energy, I would invite you to tap into your female energy and or tap into other people, male or female, but typically really embrace the women in your organization, because they will help you get to where you're going with that creative limitless potential that is inherently in who we are.
I love that. So
without hacking up the forest.
So leveraging the feminine energy from people in your team.
Yeah. In your team and in your life. And then we also have to go on to the other side of it. If you interact with a woman, again, somebody like me, and Angus, you're so self-aware. And you're so grounded in who you are that we can be close friends because you do not freak out that I am a very strong woman that has a lot of masculine energy. So my CEOs that I work with, for example, they're typically very extraordinarily confident men. If you encounter a woman who happens to have a lot of masculine energy, leverage that too, because she's still going to have the perception of being on the earth as a woman, which is a completely different paradigm than what you have as a man. And she has that GSD energy that you have. So like also harness that. So I guess what I'm saying is be aware of the potential and just the underlying ways that the humans around you, no matter their gender, approach things, and harness it and then direct it in a way that is ultimately going to get you where you want to go with the least collateral damage and the maximum amount of impact.
I'm writing a little note here. This makes really interesting sense here. So think in terms of masculine and feminine energy, right?
Mm-hmm. Not gender.
Not gender. I didn't type that all in one. Right? And so in that same context, this is on our faces, but oh well, you get it.
That's okay.
So and here's the thing is when we think about, and I think this is so important in this day and age, and this is where men get so confused, right? Is coming into this era of time that we're in, where the patriarch has obviously been gone long ago. All that, you know, our dads like didn't have the tools to show us how to see the world through the lens that is currently existing. Mm-hmm. And so many men, I know this for a fact, only think in male female, who are probably, and I can't give a hard number on where this is at what age. You know, there's obviously a younger, you know, generation understands there's more of a plurality or a gray instead of black or white when it comes to males and females. So my generation, having girls as your best friends was a little bit more challenging, whereas now a younger generation, guys and girls can think of each other more as friends. We were like, oh, if you're with a girl, then, you know, you're trying to date them, or you have some kind of thing, right? In the same way, when we get into a business structure, we see as polar opposites, like I'm the guy or you're the girl. And then of course, you know, if it's, you know, salaries, positions, power, authority, all that other stuff. We all know that is so, it's not even old school. It's just old logic.
I guess you said that like we all know, and the patriarchy is dead. And I want to challenge that with all due respect, because we all don't know. You and I know. I gather your audience knows, but the whole world doesn't know this. And the patriarchy, and honey, I live in Lebanon, Tennessee. Okay.
Come on.
I can tell you right now, the patriarchy ain't dead. It's not. And there's still this mindset of like, I'm the man, I have to, you know, this is my kingdom and I'm responsible for these things. And earnestly, it doesn't come from a nasty, I mean, sometimes it does, but it doesn't come from a nasty or controlling space. It just comes from what has been passed down through generations in these families where that was perpetuated. Mm-hmm. And then you have weirdos like us who come in and go like, what are you doing? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what year is it? And then that's threatening. And so then what do we do when we're threatened? We use the tools that we have, which is, you know, usually fueled by our childhood wounds. And then we react to it. And then you have that friction. So, you know, it's really, and I know you're so great about this, it's really about becoming self-aware and understanding, is it we all know? Do I really know? Where do I stand in this whole patriarchy thing? Because I'll tell you, even if it's just in your world, and we saw this through so much social injustice in the past couple of years, just because it's not your problem doesn't mean it's not a problem.
Yeah. And I love that you said that. So where I was going with all that, and this is a great segue, is when I say we, like of us conscious, woke, like whatever term you want to say.
Hashtag woke.
Right. So my question, where I was leading with this, is how does a man or a woman, in this context, you know, we're saying as men, what they need to know, how do they walk into a situation where they pick up on the fact, like, this is not how it's being, you know, treated. This is not how this is not the lens that either leadership or my colleagues, my team, they are not seeing through this line of equity, this filter of equity. Mm-hmm. They're seeing it from that system that no longer serves us. How can a man influence that in a way that it is more powerful and more effective?
So I would just invite you to approach it from a place of curiosity and not of judgment, because when we go in and we start judging, we're making assumptions about what's happening in that space, and that's not fair. Whether what's happening is fair or not does not recuse us from our responsibility to seek first to understand. And so if you go in with curiosity and you start asking provocative questions about why this is happening or how did we arrive at this decision, then you can start to offer your insight and paradigm and invite them to be a part of that narrative. But if you go in and you start attacking with judgment, people are going to feel judged. They're going to shrink. They're going to hunker down, and they're going to use all those tools that they know that have come up that had nothing to do with the situation at hand. That had to do with the fact that their dad said this when they were young, or they had a bad girlfriend, or whatever was from the past, and all that's going to come out and spew out, and that's not helpful. Yeah. So just go in and just start asking questions and then bringing the awareness.
And I think I would love to, I love that answer, by the way. And so it's a delicate dance even for me addressing this topic as a middle-aged white dude. Right? So if you see any of my like dancing, like on the top, maybe I'm trying to be that duck on water, and underneath I'm like, I want to say this in a way that's, appropriate. And here's what I know. Like, I jump into these kind of conversations knowing I'm not going to get it altogether right.
Right.
That I may mess up and I may get it wrong. And my intention is always to try and be on the right side of the conversation. And where I'm not, there might be areas where I'm unclear or I simply don't know and I'm ignorant. And I've gotten really comfortable like accepting that fact. And I think where other men get into is like, they don't want to be the person that makes that mistake and feel like they got skewered.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a major difference, is coming to it from a place of, yes, I'm curious, and yes, I'm trying to learn, and I'm not going to get it right all the time. And I'm going in with the lens that I'm here to learn too. And so there's this whole nother level of humility that we have to bring to these topics.
Yeah. And I think again, when you go with that curiosity, that is an underlying energy that you're putting into the experience that people are going to pick up on. And to your point, I mean, we learned this with me too. We learned this with Black Lives Matter. As a female, but not as a Black female, I don't understand what it's like to have like a double whammy against me when I'm trying to, have an equitable experience in my professional life. And so you do have to say like, you can't get too preachy, because there's things even about women that, again, I'm a privileged white woman. And granted, I had a child early, but I have a family and I have support. And so we don't know people's stories, their conditions, whatever. And so I think you do it well, Angus. Is just like, I don't have all the answers. I'm not real sure. And it's even just like saying like Black or African American. Like, I ask my friends because I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I don't want to offend anybody. I want to be full of love and light and have all those things exude from me. So just be real. Yeah. But let me add this too. There's people who are angry and oftentimes for good reason, because of all the experiences that they've had, all the crap that's in their wagon that they pull around in life. But most of us, like, I'm a feminist, not a feminazi. I don't want men. Like, I'm the biggest daddy's girl. I have 3 amazing brothers. I have a son who's going to B school. Like, I love men. But when I say I'm a feminist, I just mean I want an equitable life. I want the same opportunity. I don't want to be just like a man because I'm a woman, and I love that. But I do want us to have, if you get paid $1, why can't I get paid that same dollar? Why am I getting paid 70 cents? Like, that's what I want. And so you do have feminists who are just angry, or any discrete minority that might be angry, and you can't let that attach to you and then stop your fight. Maybe fight's not the right word. Yeah. Stop your intention to do your part to make things smoother, more equitable, more all encompassing for everyone.
Yeah. I love this. And I want to go in one more kind of layer into all this. So where we are looking at, people working from home and the changing nature of, offices and people, on-site, off-site, and then we have the male and female, like there's also now a distance. So it's one thing when we're looking at equity and we're looking for the man to be in control of his understanding of, feminine and masculine energy. So when we're in presence, we can feel that, like there's something kind of palpable or tangible in some form. So now let's jump into a Zoom room and we're running a company that's remote. How can a man, like this is where I'm going with this. Sometimes guys talk over girls.
No.
Right? Okay, so
let
me just cut to the chase. So I'm trying to be delicate, but at the same time, I know we can be blunt too. There are some ways that you can handle in a Zoom room. Have you been in a Zoom room where that's happened? And I know because of your masculine energy, like you ain't got time for that. Like you're going to stand up for yourself. Like how does a guy or can a woman assert a different level of competence in that arena?
I'll teach you a phrase that my friend Melanie Ramiro, she's a speech coach, taught me years ago. And so if a man says something we'll call like out of turn, then again, no judgment, just interesting you should say that. Silence. Let that Zoom energy settle and just, he's probably going to understand that he put his foot in his mouth and like, peace be with him, right? Yeah. If you need to grab a hold of that conversation, then if he spoke over you, then you could just say, I'm looking forward to hearing your side. May I finish my thought first? I mean, just easy. We don't have to overthink it. Just take the proverbial talking stick back. Like I definitely want to hand that off to you and get your insight on that. But right now I need to finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can say that in relationships too, because when you get to arguing, then somebody's thinking about their point and they want to, say their point, and then you can just be like, well, okay, I want to hear your side, but let me finish my thought so that you can address the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really okay. One more time. What's the line? That's interesting that you say.
Interesting, you should say that.
Okay, I'm putting this on the screen because I think this is a really powerful thing because I think my wife has used this on me.
She probably has. She's a really smart woman. Yeah. People project on me a lot, and I'm sure you do too. If you're like a personality or you have a podcast, you're on stage or things like that. People just make up things about you. They just decide for you who you are and what you're about, and so they say things that are so insulting or maybe have nothing to do with your identity or who you are at your core, or what the value you bring to the world. And so you don't want to insult them back, but you just want to make a point that maybe they stepped over a line. Interesting, you should say that.
I'm putting that one in my quiver. I love that. That's cool.
Put it in that holster,
That's. Gosh, I'm okay. So the empath in me is like putting myself in that room when somebody says that thing, and then somebody, a lady saying that, and I'm like, ooh, like everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
Unlikely the person who was being disrespectful. That's the worst part because they're not self-aware.
Yeah.
When you're self-aware, then you can see and harvest the greatness in others, and so you wouldn't want to take away somebody's time because you would want to give them the opportunity to step into their greatness, either in a large scale or in a small way of just contributing to a meeting.
I love that. Amber, thank you so much for dropping some in the Clubhouse world, dropping gems. We're not in Clubhouse right now, so
knowledge bombs.
Exactly. So
I'm really not cool enough to do internet marketing. I don't know how I've made it this long. I'm like such a nerd, and I don't do like hashtag boom or anything. But here I still am.
Well, you do a great job, and you're a powerful being just in your own presence. So it doesn't surprise me that you're able to pull it off without following some of the same protocols that others do. You march to the beat of your own drum. I almost said that you beat to the march. Doesn't really work, but it's near the end of the day. So for those of you watching at home, I want to just invite you to explore some of these leadership opportunities. So it's one thing for us to say, what is the most important thing men need to know? It's like not just as being a spouse, not just being a friend, like as a leader, all this is across the board. Is how do you become the optimum man that you possibly can become? That's the whole core of Evolve Men, is for you to evolve from where you've been to where you can be, and to know that you're capable. And I come across this issue in a couple of conversations just recently, and I've addressed it as this. It's like, when I'm talking with men, there's three things at play. There is, you don't trust me, which obviously I've tried to work really hard to earn trust with a lot of people. You don't trust the programs or the offerings or the products. Or the third piece is you don't trust you. And when I say me, I'm just using me as an example. It could be anyone. You just don't trust that talking head, that thought leader. You don't trust that they actually deliver on what they promise, or you don't trust you. And this is the key in self-awareness and emotional intelligence for us to understand, is that we have the ability, the capacity, and the gift, right?
So let me just add, because Angus, you're doing such great work. I coach men and women, but primarily women. I mean, I wrote the Bombshell Businesswoman, and I redefined the term bombshell to mean bold, brave, unwaveringly confident female. And so even like last night, I was around a bunch of female entrepreneurs who went to this art show, which was amazing. There is nothing more attractive to the large majority of women than a self-aware, emotionally intelligent, emotionally available man. So when you're evolving, and I don't mean like attractive as like just sexually attractive. I mean like, I want to work with you. I want to collaborate with you. Maybe I do want to date or marry you or something like that. But like just attractive as in, I want to experience something with you.
Yeah. Magnetic.
It's very magnetic. So congratulations to everyone watching this and anyone who follows Angus and his philosophy, because you're on track to like be the man.
Yeah. And that's what we want to do, is we're sitting here, trying to get to a place where men have freedom, because that's you're working really hard, and you think, if I just work harder, I'm going to get it. It's like, no, you're caught in the cycle, working harder and harder, doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. We already know that. Dumb. Not going to work. Number two is, you're looking for that place of fulfillment. Like, when is this going to feed my soul? Like, you can't get freedom and fulfillment. And then the last one is focused intent. Yes. Like, do you know you have the creative capacity to devise a destiny of your own dreams?
Whatever you want.
I need to remember that. That was some good D's right there. Divine destiny. I don't know what I said, but I'm going to go back and listen. That was good, right?
Right. It's good stuff.
Yeah. We
Criticals in there.
Come on. And like, that's where we want to go with this. So if you're listening, thank you so much for taking time, investing in yourself. Take a few moments to let some seeds of destiny be planted in your heart. And Amber, thank you so much. If people want to follow you, they want to get a hold of you, like, where can they go?
They can go to amberhurdle.com, like Amber Waves of Grain, hurdle like you jump over. And then on Instagram, this is about the only one that's not Amber Hurdle, unless you want to follow what I ate, my dog. You can have my personal one. Otherwise, follow The Velvet Machete on Instagram.
The Velvet Machete. I forgot about that name. That's so great. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Amber. And for all y'all that are watching, more to come. I'm talking to all my friends. And if you haven't noticed, I have smart friends. And we know this, the difference between who you are today and who you are in the years to come are found in the books you read and the people you associate. So find good people who call you out and call you up. That's my last nugget for the day. Cheers.